Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I could say ladies, I think. Statistics say that at least one female watches this channel. It's probably my wife. But still counts, so I can say it. Anyway, welcome back. This is American Nostalgia Garage. Today, pretty exciting video, I think. We're going to put in some mini tubs on the Nova. They're like regular tubs, but they're mini, you know, smaller than regular tubs. So yeah, apparently these 66 box Novas, if you haven't been watching the channel, that's what we're working on today. You can only fit like a, I don't know, don't quote me, because some Nova guy's going to freak out on me, and I don't want to get bullied, you know. Just kidding. If I think they can only fit like a 235 tire on there without mini tub in these cars, and I don't really want to run bicycle tires on my car, you know what I mean? So I want to run at least a 295, and that's bare minimum. I'd really like to get like a 315 on it, because I think that's the biggest we can go. So we're going to run a Detroit Speed and Engineering mini tub kit on a 66. There's quite a bit of cutting. There's a video on their website or something like that, and I guess it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not completely scared of doing this. It is a lot of cutting, whatever. I'm just kidding, but if you can get over the fear of cutting into the car, they do give you templates, and I bought the kit that actually has the closeouts for the frame. So I have to clear out the trunk, so I'll do that, and then we've got to pull the back seat out. The other thing is, if you've been watching the channel, or if you haven't, we covered the rear seat already. Impatient. Mr. Impatient. I just had to get the interior done. So I'm going to have to kind of finagle a little bit of a game to get the seat modification done without lighting the seat on fire. Because, one, I don't know where my fire extinguisher is. I'm looking around as if like I have one in here. But there's like a garden hose like 80 feet that way, but it's like a 30-foot hose. So, you know, totally out of luck on that. So yeah, I don't want to light anything on fire in here. Also, like a lot of you guys might want to do this kit, I do not want to pull the rear end out, because I don't want to disconnect the brakes and have to deal with fluid again like that. It's a project, and the car's not really going anywhere because it's, you know, just before Christmas time, so the car's not going anywhere. So if I have to disconnect the brakes, then I will. I'm going to try to install a kit without doing that, like I think a lot of you guys at home would do. So I want to do it like you guys, you know. I want to be just like you. So, I don't know. I guess we'll start cleaning. Alright, I cleaned the trunk, but you guys would be proud. I left just enough stuff in here that we can make a nice fire. It's good. So, anyway, it's pretty cold out, so we're going to need all this to start a bonfire when I start welding in there. And just throwing sparks all over this stuff. Also, there's probably some stuff in here, like that paper is pretty important. I'm not going to move it. If it lights on fire, it lights on fire. You know, a high roller in this garage here, so... Anyway, I really don't know where to start, but let's get the rear seat out, and I guess we'll move on from there. Alright, we're in the trunk first thing, and we've got to take off these stands that the trunk hinges go on. The springs are already gone, so the guy that destroyed this car before I got it, he did that for me, so he actually did me a huge solid. I mean, whatever, so that's got to come off. These have actually already been done at some point, because this is welded on funny. So those have been taken off before. Also, I did buy the outer wheelhouses, because my finger is almost touching a tire. I mean, it's not, but this is a huge hole right here. So we got outer wheelhouses also while we're at it. This one's actually, it's all right. We're going to get them both. So, yeah, we got to get the stand off here also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this side because I got light. I'm going to cut the welds here to separate this from this. And then I'm going to cut the whole thing out, and I'll come back and get whatever welds are holding this on. Yeah, there's spot weld there. You can see the divot. And I'll cut this off of the wheel tub after, when I get it off the car. This is definitely safety glasses and glove job. There's going to be a lot of sparks flying, a lot of metal shards. So let's get some safety gear going, and then we'll get started. I think I'm doing this wrong. Can you guys help? I don't know what I'm doing. All right, figured it out. Just kidding. Anyway, now I look like that, what was that movie? With Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now I look like the guy Buzzsaw from Running Man, except I'm just fat. And that guy had a cool flat top, and I don't have any hair, so I'm nothing like that guy then. All right, here's what we were trying to accomplish. Got that cut out with the flange. I'll cut all that off later. Got a hole there. Trunk latch or trunk hinges are free, so let's go do this side. Small teaching point if I can. If you look, I ground back the paint and you could see some of the small spots. See right there, right above where my finger is, you can see there's a low spot. Well, that's where there's going to be a spot weld for you to drill out. There's one here. Looks like there might be one over here, and there's one right here. So that way you know what to drill. Okay, I nearly had a stroke trying to find the templates for this job, which I, like everything else, lost. But I did find them. Of course, they were exactly where they should have been, which is on the floor where the box was stored for over a year when I bought them. Anyway, all right, updates. Got the template in place. I'll show you how I came up with that. Right here, or here, excuse me, line up and cut 6 inches below top of seat back. So there's 6 inches. I made a line right there. And then crucial to what you're doing here is lining up this inner line, which is really good. That it's important that you cut that right on the line where they have the template. Line that up, and then take these depressions and fold them as closely to along these lines where we made earlier to the depressions in the seat, which you probably can't even see right now. This. So you want to fold that along there. Now we're going to take our marker and we're going to make a mark. All right, we got both our template lines drawn. Now we're going to do some cutting. All right, this section of the seat back has to be removed. It's just as part of this whole deal. So I'm going to drill out the spot welds on the bottom here and then make our cut, get it out of the way, so that way I have access to the inner wheel tub, which is part of our wheel tub kit. Alright guys, we got our template lined out in the trunk. I got it held down with a magnet over here and absolutely nothing on the other side because I ran out of magnets. We're going to mark it and then we're going to start cutting. This is a pretty critical cut. I would really like to mark it with a silver marker so I could see it rather than black because it's a little bit tough to see. But all my silver markers migrated south for the winter. They're all on their way to Boca Raton right now, so they're gone. Can't find one single silver marker in this whole garage, which is great. And I'm probably surrounded by about 100 of them. So I figure I'll just use this paint pen because, you know, what better writing utensil than to write with something that, you know, just leaks all over the place and runs, especially when you need a critical cut. Okay, like I said, best writing utensil ever. The entire tip is gone. So I guess we're using black marker. All right, there's our two inner wheel tubs, and this is what it looks like now. I don't think I want to keep it like this, so let's continue. Okay, so this line right here is where the old inner tub and the outer tub meet. They want you to measure, if you take that, if you were to imaginary take that down, measure over 4 inches from that. So that's where I got that cut. Do that front and rear, and then you cut through it, just because you're not going to use that part of the flange. So you're cutting through. This is going to be a flange where you, I'm guessing you weld the new inner wheel tub to. Now, what I want to take a minute to explain now is we've already cut through the top of the frame rail on both sides when we made the first cut with the template. Now we've got to make a lower cut. All right, now how are we going to do that? This part of the kit is a little bit confusing. I mean, it was for me. I don't know if it would be for everybody, but for guys who are a little bit confused about how they want you to come up with this line down here, like where do you get it from? Well, what I did was this. I took my shop light and I put it down here, and then I looked through the top of the car, and if you can see, there's a point right about there where the light stops shining. That's because this cut happens to go into the frame rail at that point. That's where they intersect. So I took a line and I drew the line out this way, and I put a line on this flange. You can see it right there. I put a line on this flange. So I know that right here, this is where the cut that's on the top here intersects with the frame rail and comes out of the frame rail, which is why we're able to see the light through here. So now what you really want to do is take these lines and you're going to send them just straight down, and you're going to make a line here, and you're going to make a line back there. So now that we've got those vertical lines that I just talked about, we can double check it to make sure that our panel fits about the width or about the length of where I have those marks made. And it does. On the front and rear, if you mock this into place, this panel here begins there and pretty much ends on that line there. So I don't know if that's how they want you to do it, but I mean, that's how I'm double checking that my work was correct. So we're at least in the ballpark. All right, guys, new day. Yeah, I'm wearing the same thing. Cut down on laundry. Anyway, let me show you what we got going on here. I did this I think I did it different than the instructions say. I'm not really sure because I don't know what the instructions say. So let me show you what we did. So as we mentioned before, our line for where the patch, the closeout panel, is going to go here. So I just cut it here just to be safe, give myself some extra room. And then what I did is I just cut the entire frame rail all the way down, and I made another cut, right here. The closeout panel is going to go further back, but I made a cut here again just to be safe, just like I did here. And then I just cut the whole frame out. I cut the whole frame out. I didn't cut the frame out. Well, I did, but I didn't do it all the way apparently. So anyway. Okay. Here's a bit of a visual indicator of how much room we waste in these cars. So, if you look at this is the frame rail. I'd like to make a note for everybody. Look how thin this is. The frame rail in these cars is very thin. But yeah, this is the frame rail, and this is where the inner tub would have been. This is the inner tub, the old inner tub, where it is. You lose like 1.5 inches, 2 inches right there. So that's 2 inches of tire you can't put on this car just because of the way the sheet metal is. Now what I'm going to do is, now that is out of the way, you can see that now I have, this is where the cut should be. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but this is where the stock frame rail was. It's got to be this much thinner, the difference between here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in from the top. I'm going to look down And I'm going to mark the inside of this bottom frame rail with the profile of this. So basically what I'm going to do is take this lower frame rail and take it back to whatever distance this is from the inside here. And that basically make it all uniform, so when I put the patch panel in, it's going to lay flat. Alright, we got the frame rail trimmed out. The plate fits on it nice. There is some work that happened off camera that I didn't show you guys because this car had, I guess, apparently been in an accident. And this frame rail was pushed down just a little bit. You know, guys, these cars are all old, and it's tough finding a car that hasn't been in an accident. So really, I'm not worried about it. What I did is I put a little bit of pressure on the back here on leaf spring just to push up the back of the car, and then I punched, well, I body worked this frame rail flat because it was basically bulging out this way. So by putting pressure on the back and then flattening out the metal that was here, I got it nice and in line again. So actually we're doing repairs here. I've got it nice and sanded down, prepped for welding. What I did in order to get this lower frame rail cut out is I went inside the car up here, I looked down with a marker and traced so that the profile would be the same. I don't know if I explained that already. So now we're gonna get to welding. Alright guys, got the outer wheel tub installed. Bit of a pain in the butt. You guys don't want to have to do that. I mean, it's probably easy for a body guy, but I'm not a body guy. I got our inner tub. I got all the holes drilled around the flange in order to spot weld it. No, I didn't do what they do in a lot of these videos or the instructions or whatever, where, you know, you'd drill a spot weld every, you know, 1/4 inch and do 8 million of them. I did, you know, every, you know, 4 inches or so, 3.5, 4 inches. Just to need enough to hold it in, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be crawling around, so, you know, cutting corners here, but whatever. So this is ready to go in. Let's get this fitted and then we can weld it in. Alright, I got it tacked in, or spot welded in I should say. Just ran some spot welds across the bottom, doesn't need to be perfect. And then I just got to seam seal this, mostly on the inside. I am going to run seam seal in this gap along the top on the outside. But yeah, I'm going to seam seal this and paint it, and then we're done with this side. Alright guys, well, we got it seam sealed. You can barely make it out. It's nice and shiny because I just painted it, so. And it's nice and nice fresh coat of paint. So everything's painted black. Seam sealed in the corners here, in the seam. And yeah, that's that. Let me bring it down, I'll show you the inside. Alright, here's what our mini tub looks like from the back. Seam sealed all along the back and the side, just to keep it weather tight, and fresh coat of black paint. Let's go to the inside. Same thing here. Seam sealed down the corners and around the side, and it's brand new, super wet black paint. You can tell by all the drip marks that it's Boyd Coddington approved. So we're gonna clip this video here with just a one wheel tub, so you understand the wheel tub itself process, welded in, all that. A little extra because I had to do the outer wheel tub as well. But we're gonna do a part 2 for this, which is gonna include like the intricate stuff. The trunk latch braces, the seat frame and seat brace modifications. It'll be a shorter video, but it'll include those things so that if you're doing this, you don't feel like how I felt, which was just left in the wind. Anyway, if you enjoyed part 1 of this mini tub kit on the 66 Nova, throw the thumbs up sign there. Give me a like. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, and it does help the guy out, It lets me know I'm doing something right so I can continue to make some of the content or whatever. Or leave a comment below and make suggestions as to different things you would have done here, or even some content you guys would like to see. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for checking in. Later.